Cracking the code, effective strategies in implementation research. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, we're all about making science practical and impactful. Today, we're going to crack the code on one of the most important aspects of implementation research effective strategies. We're diving into the how of getting evidence-based interventions into real-world practice. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit of strategies that can help make your research a reality in healthcare settings. Before we dive into the specific strategies, let's take a moment to talk about why they matter. Implementation strategies are the methods or techniques that you use to promote the adoption and integration of evidence-based practices in real-world settings. Imagine you've developed an incredible new health intervention, but if it doesn't get implemented effectively, it won't help anyone. That's where these strategies come in. They guide the transition from research to routine practice, ensuring that your work has the impact it deserves. Implementation strategies can be organized into different categories. Let's explore the most common ones. 1. Training and education. One of the most widely used strategies is training and education. This could involve organizing workshops, seminars, or online courses to educate healthcare providers about a new intervention. The goal is to ensure that everyone involved has the knowledge and skills to implement the intervention effectively. 2. Stakeholder engagement. Engaging stakeholders such as patients, healthcare providers, and policymakers is critical. This strategy involves getting buy-in from everyone who will be impacted by the intervention. Stakeholder engagement ensures that the intervention is relevant and practical for the specific context. 3. Audit and feedback. This strategy involves regularly auditing performance and providing feedback to the team implementing the intervention. For example, if you're trying to improve hand hygiene in a hospital, you might provide weekly feedback to staff on their compliance rates. Audit and feedback help to monitor progress and keep the team motivated. 4. Incentives and rewards. Incentivizing change can be a powerful strategy. Offering rewards for meeting implementation goals can motivate healthcare providers to adopt new practices more quickly. These incentives don't always have to be monetary. Recognition and praise can be just as effective. 5. Organizational change. Sometimes, the best way to implement an intervention is to change the system itself. This could mean reorganizing a department, introducing new policies, or integrating new technologies to support the intervention. Organizational change can create a supportive environment for the intervention to thrive. Not all strategies work in all contexts. Choosing the right strategy depends on the setting, the stakeholders involved, and the specific barriers and facilitators at play. Here are some tips for tailoring your strategy to your context. 1. Assess the setting. Is your intervention being implemented in a hospital, a community clinic, or a rural health post? The setting will dictate which strategies are most appropriate. For example, in resource-limited settings, training and stakeholder engagement may be more effective than introducing costly technology. 2. Identify barriers and facilitators. Every context has its own unique set of challenges. For example, in some settings, lack of resources might be a barrier, while in others, resistance to change could be the main issue. Conducting a barrier analysis will help you select strategies that address the specific obstacles in your context. 3. Engage stakeholders early. Get input from key stakeholders right from the start. They'll provide insights into what strategies are likely to work and which ones may face resistance. Engaging stakeholders early also builds trust and buy-in, which are essential for successful implementation. Now, let's take a look at some real-world examples of how these strategies have been used effectively. 1. The WHO's Clean Care is Safer Care campaign. In this global initiative to improve hand hygiene in healthcare settings, training and education were key strategies. Healthcare workers were trained on the importance of hand hygiene, and regular audits provided feedback on compliance. The result? Significant reductions in healthcare-associated infections worldwide. 2. Scaling up antenatal care in sub-Saharan Africa. In this case, stakeholder engagement was critical. Researchers worked closely with local health workers and community leaders to design a culturally appropriate antenatal care program. By involving these stakeholders from the start, they ensured that the intervention was widely accepted and adopted. 3. Telemedicine integration in rural clinics. To successfully implement telemedicine in rural clinics, organizational change was essential. The clinics needed to be equipped with the necessary technology, and healthcare workers required training on how to use telemedicine tools effectively. This combination of strategies helped to bridge the gap in healthcare access for rural populations. So, how can you apply these strategies to your own research? Here are some practical tips. 1. Plan ahead. From the very beginning of your research, think about how your intervention will be implemented. Build implementation strategies into your study design. Don't wait until the end. 2. Pilot test your strategies. Before rolling out your intervention on a large scale, pilot test your strategies in a smaller setting. This allows you to identify any issues and make adjustments before full implementation. 3. Measure and adapt. Implementation is not a one-time effort. Continuously measure the effectiveness of your strategies and be prepared to adapt as needed. What works in one setting may not work in another, so flexibility is key. 4. Leverage resources. Don't reinvent the wheel. There are many resources, frameworks, and toolkits available to help you select and implement the right strategies for your context. Leverage these resources to make your implementation efforts more efficient and effective. Implementation strategies are the key to turning research into real-world change. By understanding and applying these strategies effectively, you can ensure that your evidence-based interventions don't just sit on a shelf, they make a tangible difference in healthcare. Remember, the best strategies are the ones that are tailored to your specific context and adapted over time. With the right approach, you have the power to crack the code and bring your research to life in the communities that need it most. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more practical tips on how to make your research count. Together, we can turn evidence into action.